Hey, there we go. Yes, I think it was the VPN again. Hey guys, thanks for hanging in there. I'm here at last. Yeah. How's everybody doing? Ah, right. Try and get back. Wow, lots of comments already, and I only just got it. Uh, KJ Keeley, pole position. Yes, well, that's very topical given the Formula One at the moment, getting ready to launch. Phil Buckley, hey, welcome to the room. Orlando Pockets, place your bets. Will he have a diecast in the room? Yes, he does. What do we got? Mopar Man 78, hey. Who else have we got in here? Josh Homan, hey, good to have you here, mate. Beagle Bob. Beagle Bob, well, there you're wrong. I'm back in my man cave, see? So with all the decorations. Yeah. And what do we got? Driveway of Misfits. Hey, all, how's everybody doing? The stress level's coming down a little bit now because it wouldn't connect. I kind of tried to reboot it twice, and the second time it actually worked. So, hey, it's all good. What do we got? Lando Pockets. Large Marge seems like Christine too to me. Well, yeah, she is a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, she is. Beagle Bob. Oh, yeah. Need to pour a glass of bourbon before we start. Yes, I better just grab mine. Cheers, guys. Granddad's Junk. Hey, welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. Stray Bullet. Hello. What else? Nathan McCree. Hey, welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. There's me commenting that I have trouble connecting. We got there in the end. Pickle Bob, did Kev start messing with the computer? No, it's this VPN thing that we've got, and it seems like the only way Mrs. Kiwi had it set to America, being the location, but that still, YouTube still didn't like it, so we had to turn off the VPN altogether. Driveway of Misfit. I'm in IT, but I'm off the clock. Oh, thanks for the support there, bud. Driveway of Misfits. Ever mill up any kauri? I've heard farmers in New Zealand dig up ancient kauri trees now and again, and they get milled into lumber. Yeah, they do. They do. It's it's very valuable. The Dude, get your official Kiwi merch. Thank you, sir. Thanks to you. Thank you, the Dude. Well done. Oh, nice hoodie. Yeah, thanks. Mrs. Kiwi just rocked up at home. She came back. Where's my thing? Yeah, like last weekend, I think it was, or the week before. She said, "Look what I got you." And it's like, woohoo. So, yeah, got my Shelby sweatshirt on, keeping me nice and warm. And it's a bit cold tonight, too. We've got lots of wind and rain and stuff happening here tonight. Phil Buckley likes the hoodie, too. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Kiwi will be pleased. Granddad's Junk. G'day, Kiwi brother. Hey, man. Derek Deberjack came through at the last minute. I forget we're an hour different. Right. Yeah. Yep. There's a little bit different. Granddad's Junk. Chris, I have a boat made of kauri. Wow, that'd be pretty cool. I love those old Chris Craft, those old mahogany boats. That's on my bucket list of things I'd probably won't ever do, but I'd love to actually try my hand at building one of those mahogany boats. I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. No, we need to impose tariffs on the VPN. Yeah. Yes, true. Andy Nickel, hey man, good to have you along. Well, yeah, it wasn't. To be fair to YouTube, I think that was an issue at my end. We had this VPN turned on, and YouTube doesn't not seem to like the VPN, so we turned it off completely, and we came live. So I was like 6 or 7 minutes getting on live. So sorry about that, guys. Driveway of Misfits. At some point, I definitely want to get one of those ancient Kiwi boards. Making something out of 50,000-year-old wood would be something special. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? It would be. Yeah, you're right. Phil Buckley, near my sister's place, Kaitaia. They dug up heaps of those trees up. One was across the highway, about 8 feet down. Wow. They say a big cyclone may have leveled them. Wow. Mopar Man, hey, welcome to the room. Good to have you here. Andy Nickel, sorry to YouTube. Yeah, it wasn't them, that was me, but that's all good. Granddad's Junk. Chris, if you're keen, I could send you a Kiwi chopping board. Anything untreated won't get in past customs. Oh, really? So it'd have to be a treated chopping board. Yeah, mate, I'd love a Kiwi chopping board. Absolutely, I would. Yeah. Direct Deberjack. Ancient flowers. Ancient flows preserves wood nicely. Muzz's MS Madness. No, it stayed wet in the swamps. Oh, okay. That's what kept it all right, the fact that it was stayed wet. Interesting. Man, we talk about all sorts of stuff on this show, don't we? Now we're talking about ancient swamp Kiwi. Wow. Well, someone's texted me. That'll be Mrs. Kiwi. Yeah. Driveway of Misfits. Nope, the trees were buried in an anaerobic mud during the last ice age, so they were preserved. Good Lord, how do you people know all this stuff? Stray bullet boat break out another 1,000. Yeah, at least. Probably another 10,000. Yeah, D-Reg. Yeah, she chirped up from the cheap seats. Yeah, we have got one that we actually bought up north years ago, and we brought it to the States. So we do have one chopping board, but yeah, another one would be kind of cool because that's getting a little worn. I got to be honest with you. We've had it over 20 years. Beagle Bob, some of the planets should be in retrograde now. Act accordingly. Good grief. Okay, that sounds like a very what do they call it? All that astrology stuff. Interesting. Josh Homan, I believe there are places here in America that also have water preserved logs. Could well be. Yeah. Why wouldn't there be? Mopar Man, Devil's Mountain out west here in the US looks like a petrified tree stump from biblical times. Wow. And saltwater Kiwi lasts forever. Oh, wow, that's cool. Fitzgeralding, hey, welcome along, bud. Good to have you here. Busy packing for a trip down to Vero Beach early tomorrow morning. Oh, nice. For some much needed R&R, maybe a little saltwater fishing. Oh, there you go. Yeah, bit of saltwater fish eating too would be good. Orlando Pockets. There's a log in a crater lake called the Old Man's that's been floating there for decades. Wow. Yeah, well, that crater lake's going to have all sorts of chemicals in the water, isn't it? I would imagine. Driveway of Misfits. Yep, down south in the bayou area, cypress trees cut down 100 years ago, sunk in the rivers and are getting brought up. Wow. Orlando Pockets Crater Lake is very clean. Interesting. I thought it would have, I guess it would only be fed from rainwater, but I would have thought some of the chemicals coming up, I guess it depends how active the volcano is, I suppose. If it's not active, then you wouldn't. But if it was, blowing gas or bubbles out through the water, then you'd think they'd pick up some of the not so much chemicals, but minerals, that sort of thing. Josh Homan, never heard of them before. I know that sometimes logging rafts had accidents and sank. I can't believe what we're talking about. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's like I didn't see this one coming, shall we say? Orlando Pockets. Oh yeah, maybe volcano stuff. I thought you meant like toxic waste flowing into it from old gas stations. No, not unless that's a very high gas station. Driveway of misfits. They'd float the logs down the river. Some would sink on the way. That lumber's valuable now. Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's Mrs. Kiwi. Fitzgeralding, I've got 7 cypress trees on my property and 3 pine trees, over 100 feet tall. Wow, that's a big pine tree. Damn. Orlando, my house is so old, the 2x4 is actually measured 2x4. Wow, is that a thing? Wow, okay. So back in the day, they were actually an accurate measurement, not half an inch light like they are now. Wow. DREC, 10% plus, 10% or more of all logging sunk. Wow. I would have thought those logs freshly cut would float pretty well. Huh. Driveway of misfits. We should probably talk about cars at least a little bit. So, Kiwi, how many Fords did you find on the road dead this week? Mate, none. Not one. We've actually we've finished a couple of Fords this week, which is nice. We've got one's delivered and two more are waiting to be delivered. So which is kind of good. It eases up the parking pressures that we have. And been working on that white GTO that you may have seen in the background of some of the shots. Sorry, been working on that today and took that for a road test. So that video will be coming out tomorrow. So look out for that, probably around 6 o'clock tomorrow night. It went pretty well, apart from the square tyres. Oh my lord, did it shake! Couldn't really get it past 40 mile an hour. It was just shaking the shit out of everything. They were like well square. So, but yeah, we got new wheels and tyres coming. We've got new suspension coming. We've got new brakes coming. So that's going to be quite a neat car when it's done. And all we're doing, which is kind of a nice change, all we're doing is mechanical stuff. So the body on it's pretty darn decent. Long Island Mopars. Mopar man, you means Devil's Tower in Wyoming, where they filmed Close Encounters, right? Okay. Josh Homan, before lumber companies ripped you off. Yeah. John Giddens, in New Zealand, massive carry logs got pulled out of the forest by locomotives using wooden rails. Wow. Stray bullet, that's a terrible question to ask. Well, you do find the odd Ford found dead on the road. That does happen, but it happens to Chevrolets too, and Mopars. Orlando, flat spots on the tyres from sitting too long. Yeah, but I mean, I've driven a bunch of cars with flat spotted tyres, but man, this one was bad. Like really, it was starting to shake the car so much that we kind of just had to slow down. It was pretty bad. Right, what else is going on? As long as it's not flat on the bottom, you're fine. Oh, this is right. This is very true. Long Island Mopars, wheel bearings shot in the truck. Mate, I haven't even checked the wheel bearings on the truck. Um, yeah, I don't think so, in all honesty. Yeah, I think it was the bushings on the front. What do you call them? Not the stabilizer bar bushings. Yeah, it's the bars that go forward to the twin I beams, and they go forward and they come back to and tie into the chassis. The bushings there are almost non-existent, so it's all just flopping around and wandering, and yeah, it's a mess. Yeah, I haven't even delved into it, since that last video at all. Been trying to get a front windshield in it so we can at least see where we're going. That way, you've got a better view when you crash off the road because you can't steer the darn thing. So, yeah, strut rod bushings. Yes, that's what I mean. Strut rod bushings. Having a little senior moment there and forgot the terminology. Stray bullet. Make sure to check the upper ball joints. Upper ball joints on the F100 or on the GDO. Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. You must be the GDO, I guess. Beagle Bob traction bars. No, well, it's they're a 4-link anyway in the back of those GDOs, and but yeah, we're putting all Detroit Speed front and rear suspension in it, so that's going to be nice. Detroit Speed's pricey, but it's really good stuff. So that's going to be quite enjoy those jobs, especially from the quality manufacturers where the stuff actually fits. You don't have to file holes and grind stuff off and cut bolts down and re-drill things and mess around like Detroit. The stuff just fits and goes straight on. 6th Street Garage. Hey man, how you doing? Good to have you here. Granddad's Junk used to be a kiln operator. Okay. I can't say that's a job I've ever done. Mopar Man 78. Slant sixes are being a hot topic in my area and picked up an extra one with transmission. There you go. People buying and selling them in parts. My buddy Andy is building a drag racing slant six for his Valiant. Interesting. Okay. Interesting choice. Great engine. They're really, truly a great engine. I see Dead Dog's got an aluminum blocked one. I thought that was interesting. Orlando Pockets. That truck is simple to drive. Just point it where you don't want it to go and it will go where you want it to go. Yeah, a bit of reverse psychology there. Well, yeah, that might work too. Man, when I was driving it, I just pointed every single direction. You didn't really have much of an option. You were just, chasing the wheel from one side to the other. But we'll get on top of that. It's not a big deal. That really was a test drive, just to make sure that, the transmission had all its gears, that the rear axle wasn't singing a song, and it was just a quick trip around. With the brakes aren't sorted fully yet, that sort of thing. But it was just to kind of see what we had, really. And what we've got is fairly good. The steering obviously is a horror story, but that's. I either fix what's there or go with the Crown Vic front end, which probably leaning towards the Crown Vic front end, if I'm honest. But time will tell. I've got to find a Crown Vic front end, and I've got to also find the time to install it, because it doesn't just they don't. They're relatively simple to fit, but they don't fit themselves. Stray bullet. I thought you were talking about the truck. I was, but that's the truck has the twin I beam, so it doesn't have upper ball joints. It doesn't have ball joints at all. Fitzgeraldine, looks like I'll be getting the storm here in Georgia in the morning as I leave for Florida. Just washed the Lexus this morning. Figures. Damn that Murphy. Yes, Murphy's Law, indeed. Driveway of Misfits, Granddad's Junk. I wish there was a kiln or lumber mill around here. I could buy from. Buying wood at retail is getting wicked spin. Yeah, it is. Long Island Mopars had too many slant sixes in my life. How many is too many? Andy Nickel was just looking up the price of mahogany. Looks around $14 a board foot, and that's African mahogany, not Honduras, which is the good stuff. You might reconsider the boat. LOL. Yeah, well, I mean, it's on the list of things I think I'd like to do, and I've certainly not got anywhere near close enough to start pricing it. But yeah, for as long as I can remember, mahogany's been expensive. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe when I retire from cars and got more time than I know what to do with, I'll start building a boat. And if the mahogany is too expensive, well, I don't know. Regular old plywood, I guess. What do we got here? Orlando pockets. I still remember the first time I broke the bolt that holds the two manifolds together on the slat six. Oh, dang. Yeah, I've got that little red Falcon that we did a video on probably a month ago. The owner turned up yesterday with the 200 Mustang motor for it, the 200 straight six Mustang motor and trans. But unfortunately, what he hadn't picked up on was that the rearmost bolt on the exhaust manifold is missing, and that's mainly because the little boss on the cylinder head is broken off, and the boss on the exhaust manifold is broken off. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem that we've got to come up with a solution for. That's a bit of a nuisance because it appears to be quite a decent engine. Other than that, Andy Nickel, a board foot is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 inch. Yeah. Well, if it's a 30-foot boat, that's a lot of money. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Long Island Mopars. I'm at 273,318, guys. Oh, thanks, dude. Putting the link up there. Good man. Stray Bullet. My twin I-beam has ball joints. Okay. Mate, I'm sorry. Could be. Okay. So is the ball joint the pivot point where the twin I thought that was a bush there. I'll be honest with you. And now that I think about it, I may have just been assuming that was a bush. Haven't messed with those twin I-beams really at all prior to having this truck. So yeah, I could be speaking completely out of turn there. So sorry about that. I was thinking that would be a bush on that inner pivot point, but maybe it's a ball joint. Must be a big ball joint. Wow. We're going to have to have a closer look at that suspension, and if there's too much, like bad with it, then I'm just going to go the Crown Vic way. Roosters Restorations. You need a large marge. I think that's why the dude put a link up. Yeah, send me an email, man, and we'll get one out to you. Not a problem. Right. Long Island Mopars, everyone broke those bolts. Yeah. So I'm just trying to catch up with the comments here. I never heard of lumber getting worse due to tax issues. They always say it is because they ran out of old growth trees. Okay. What else have we got here? Driveway of Misfits. 100-year-old pine 2x12s I just milled up is way higher quality than any pine I could buy today. Interesting. So why? I wonder why it's better quality from that long ago. Is they just have they? Is it like are they genetically messing with the pine, the modern, the modern, the young pines? Stray bullet. There is enough maintenance owning a perfect condition, fully restored wood boat to keep anyone occupied. Yeah, yeah. I've heard they're pretty high maintenance. And yeah, so I mean, it may never happen, but just the concept of it appeals to me. So, but that's a long way between actually something appealing to you and then you actually diving in and doing it. Jeff hi, I bet that bright white Cobra hoodie you're wearing has never been to the workshop. You are absolutely correct, sir. This would last about 14 seconds at the workshop. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's got it all. I got, if I can turn around. Got, there's tons of writing and stuff on the back as well. It's quite cool. A little present from Mrs. Kiwi, which was rather nice. Right, driveway is missing. Oh, here we go. Let's tie all of these discussions together. How about a wood bed for the shop truck? There you go. Yes, why not? Yeah, Fitzgeralding. Here we go. A lot of logging in my area. Major CSX hub here. They strip the bark and load the logs on the train. We average 62 trains a day. Wow, that's a lot of timber. Amish Mafia, twin I-beam Fords have king bins. Well, yeah, okay. I'm a little confused by this twin beam conversation. I know they don't have like outer upper and lower ball joints because they have kingpins, but I was wondering whether he meant that there's a ball joint on the inner pivot point, where that I-beam, both of them, each of them attached to the chassis, that pivot point. I don't know whether that's a bush or a ball joint. I was assuming maybe he meant there, where it attaches to the chassis. Tim Miller, hold on to your hats. Winds are hitting Kansas City at 50 miles an hour. That's blowing some, isn't it? I heard we were going to get to 60 here in Franklin overnight, which is like, that's really blowing. Granddad's junk. Yeah, the 318 was the bread and butter engine for Chrysler. Yes, it was. Orlando Pockets. I hope you go Crown Vic just to see you do it. Yeah, it's I've kind of looked into it a little. And there's a couple of things I'd like to try, just a little different than what the mainstream's doing, but we shall see. Old timer F7. Oh, mate, coronavirus kicked my poor white ass for the last 8 days. Well, mate, look, I'm glad you're through it. It can be like a bad case of the flu, or it can be deadly. It can swing either way. So I'm glad you're through it, mate. Stray bullet. Mine is an 8th generation F series. I know for certain it has ball joints, but I'm not certain about the previous generations. Okay. All right. Yeah. 8th generation. Probably. Yeah. I don't know what year that is. The 8th generation. But yeah, they did. They did, and it depends whether it's 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive too, of course. But yeah, those 70s and I think the twin I-beams carried on into the 80s at least, maybe even the 90s. Yeah, I'm not sure what years that 8th generation is. Fitzgeralding, I like using CRC freeze off. Yeah, I've used that before too. It's good stuff. Freeze up rusty bolts and nuts and stubborn ball joints like a charm. Yeah. No, okay. Driveway misfits. Old growth trees grew slower, so the lumber is denser and more stable. Makes sense. Old growth forest, tight grain. Yep, it's yeah. You're talking the same language, aren't you, guys? Andy Nickel, but there are lots of American hardwood that are excellent for boat building that are more affordable. I can talk about wood all day, so I'll shut up. How's the shop truck? Shop truck's good. I started doing a video on replacing the front windshield on it, and got the windshield out, and only to discover there's quite a bit of rust across the top of the roof, due to somebody using RTV sealer to try and seal the windshield. Now, some of you know, and some of you won't, that there's an RTV has an acid in it that is, the acid cure, and the correct name is acetic cure, which is just a different way of saying acid cure, and that's what makes it go hard. It makes it set up. But that same acid eats through the paint and into the metal and makes it rust like rapidly. It's very corrosive. So yeah, someone had used that across the top of the windshield. So yeah, once I got the glass out and the rubber out, it all just came raining down with rust scale, and yeah, it wasn't very pretty. So I had to spend a couple of hours patching up the rust holes across the top of the roof, and then get it primed, get a bit of body filler in there, and yeah. So that video's not finished just yet. I was thinking this will take an hour and a half. We'll do it. Make it a half-hour video, and everyone will be happy. But no, it's kind of blown. Like most plans, they kind of, especially with old cars, tend to go astray. So. So yeah, that's what's happening with the truck at the moment. Just trying to get it all sealed up and waterproof before moving to the next stage. Old timer, I'm a 30-year logging professional. I'm late to this discussion, but I'm happy to answer with the truth if asked a question. Oh, there you go. 30-year logging professional. That's very cool.
To who?
What? Siri's talking to me. Go away, Siri. Lord Burns just bought some beautiful red oak planks from a small private sawmill. 10 by 1 inch, 10 inch by 1 inch by 10 feet, $30 each. Wow, that's not bad. $3 a foot. Wow, that's good. That's a lot cheaper than mahogany. Biggle Bob, Josh Homan, it's two issues. One is the rapid growth of plantation trees causes large rings in soft wood. The second is the taxes make yards rapid dry and sell rather than drying naturally over the years. Yeah, it's all about the mighty dollar, isn't it? It's always comes back to the dollar. Hang on, we missed some comments here. Hang on, where do we go? Granddad's junk. The modern pine varieties are grown fast, so not as dense a timber. It's just rubbish. Yeah. Well, it's all in the name of money, isn't it? They're trying to get more wood in a given time frame from an acre of land, and that's how they do it, I guess. No, mate. Who's asking that? Redmond Cable. Is that a glass of Canadian whiskey? No, it's not. It is a glass of Peerless bourbon, which is aged in rum barrels. It's quite a nice drop. Now, what is this? Cabelin 68, Kiwi, how is the Cougar Fastback project coming? It's not in the shop anymore. The owner took it home. He had 3 projects on the go at once, and basically the cash just didn't stretch that far. He needed to rest one. So the Cougar was chosen to be rested for a while. Hopefully that'll be coming back sometime this year when, as things kind of pan out. And absolutely zero project on the Cougar. Progress on the Cougar project. Phew, getting all tongue twisted. Tim Miller. Mate, rent a boat for a time. See if it's what your cash can go. Yeah. Boats are expensive. My old man was heavily into his boats, so I've kind of been around boats quite a bit as a younger guy with him, and that certainly gave me an idea of just how much money you can spend on a boat. Makes cars look pretty cheap, actually. John Giddings, are you going to put a piece of carpet on the bonnet / hood in America, like Kiwis do to utes? I haven't heard of them doing that, putting a piece of carpet on the hood. That's a new one to me, bud. Granddad's junk. The Remu logs I milled and cut trees down were very heavy. The tractor couldn't pick them up. If you want a good laugh, watch me get them on the mill. Okay. I'm going to have to start looking at your videos, Granddad's junk. Yeah. How's that 318 poly coming along? Have you done any more work on that? Driveway of misfits. Are most of the species native to New Zealand hardwoods? Ooh, that's a good question, actually. I'm going to say probably yes, or at least the majority of them, yeah. 6th Street Garage, are you talking about just the front end or a full frame swap? No, just the front end. I don't see the point in swapping in a complete Crown Vic frame to an F100. Honestly, I don't. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. But I don't see the point that they've got a chassis that was made for that truck. You don't have to mess around with it. You can box it if you want to make it stronger. And you can just slip the Crown Vic suspension. Just fits nicely into the F100 chassis. So why go to the trouble of putting in a chassis from a sedan, which was never designed to be a truck chassis. It was designed for a sedan, and then try and make all the body mounts and the bed mounts and all the front end body mounts when you've already got a chassis that is perfectly adequate for the job. I don't really get it. Short answer, just the front end. Stray Bullet, 2-wheel drive, 8th generation is 87 to 91. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure whether they'd gone to a proper independent front suspension by 87 or not. I'm not up to speed on those. Fitzgerald caught RSV. RSV's pretty mean too. Last year, kicked my ass as I have copped. Okay. Redmond Cable. I used to own an 84 F-150 with twin I-beams. Yeah. I'm really not sure when they stopped, but I'm sure someone can Google it and tell us. Beagle Bob, I forgot to click the like button. Probably not the only one. Yes, lots of likes. We need lots of likes. It helps the algorithm. Lots of likes, please, guys. It really does help, and just helps raises the profile and just makes it, helps me to make it a better channel, hopefully. Lord Burns, we have black walnut here on the farm. Built several. There you go. Tables and mantelpieces, all beautiful. Wow, I bet it is. Black walnut. Yeah, I bet that is beautiful. Driveway of misfits. Hard to get good black walnut these days. Good stuff gets shipped overseas for maximum profit. Yeah. Phil Buckley, do they have the Fireball 318 in the US? 9.2 to 1 compression, still a 2-barrel, advertised brake horsepower 230, 340 foot-pounds of torque. The Fireball, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna bow out of that question. I'm not sure. Was that? Yeah, that was an LA engine, wasn't it? Like the small block Chrysler. I remember seeing Fireball on the air cleaners and stuff back in the day. But whether they got them here, that I'm not sure of. 6th Street Garage, I think the 97 model year Ford got away from the twin I-beams. There you go. Long Island Mopars beats you to the like button. Oh. There we go. What have we got? Josh Homan. They might. The standard 318 was originally listed as 230 gross horsepower. Yeah, I thought that was the 230 is a number that rings a bell. Paul, hi, first time lurker from Cambridge, New Zealand. Good content, mate. Cheers. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. 6th Street Garage 318s in the US didn't get a 4-barrel till 79. Oh, wow. Till 79. Huh. Long Island Mopars. Never heard of the Fireball 318 here in the US. 230 was standard. 8.5 to 1 compression. Same engine was rated to 150, 250 horse. Yeah, maybe the Fireball thing was a marketing thing in Australia. Yeah, maybe just slightly different. Cablin 68. Hi Kiwi, love your videos. What is left for large March? Mate, there's lots left for large March. Lots left. What else are we going to do? It's I've got to get that electric seat finished. Just been busy at work. I haven't had chance. Haven't gotten around to putting the other mechanism, the other side mechanism, into the electrolysis and letting that cook for a week to get rid of the rust on it, and then I can start putting that together. But yeah, I've got to put a windshield in large Marge. That's one of the things I've got to do. That's badly cracked, and yeah, there's plenty of things to do to her. And somewhere in that mix there is rebuilding the engine too. So yeah, plenty to do. My plan with the engine is to put a 4-inch stroker kit in it, so that takes it out to 390 or 390 something cubic inches, depending on the bore size, somewhere between 390 and 400. Which will be a nice little upgrade for Marge. She's not going to be a screaming hot rod, but I just wanted to have like at least 300 horse, at least 300, just with her weight and size, and just wanted her to be able to keep up with modern day traffic, So 300, 350 would be nicer, but we shall see. I've got twin 4-barrels for it. Got a twin 4-barrel intake for it. So, and supposedly Ford headers are a very close fit. You cut the flanges off. The spacing on the exhaust ports is the same from the Poly 318 to the small block Ford. So you get some small block Ford headers, cut the flanges off, get some flanges cut to suit the Poly, and basically weld them together. I'm sure it won't work out quite as simple as that, but that's how simple they make it sound on the internet, Driveway of misfits, Kiwis, conifers, and carries. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Beagle Bob, that cougar must be worn out after mating with the coyote. Needs a rest before it continues. Exactly. Granny's saying, not most are hardwoods. The best timber in New Zealand is Kauri, Rimu, White Pine, Matai, Silver Beech. Okay. Yeah, kind of out of my range of expertise on all that timber. I know Carry and Remu are beautiful, pretty woods, for sure, and Matai. But yeah, they're natives for sure, but yeah, maybe not hardwoods. Alan Trimble, greetings from Northern Delaware, Kiwi. Well, greetings, man. Hey, good to have you here. Diva Jack, hardwood and softwood differ in strange ways. Indeed. Kiwi, if you were going to place Marge back into everyday service, what mods would you make? Well, I mean, we've already put power steering on it. That would be one for everyday service. For everyday service, really, a little bit better brakes for everyday service. It's got the drum brakes all around, and they're adequate, but they're not. They either need like a good booster on them to make them a little bit more, lifelike. You've got to lean on that pedal fairly hard to haul it up. I mean, it's very doable, but I mean, we've all gotten, say we loosely, but I know myself have gotten very spoiled with the modern cars and how well they brake. So you jump back into Marge and it's like, oh, got to slow down. You got to push. You've actually got to work for it to make them stop, So yeah, it's a little bit better brakes, some air conditioning. I think is a must-have for everyday driver, and a nice, fresh, strong engine. I mean, she works. The engine goes. It's just not very powerful, It's just she's a little bit old, a little bit tired. Smokes a little bit. Not bad. Not bad for how long she sat. But yeah, it's it consumes a little bit of oil. Not terrible, but it does consume it. So yeah, that'd be it. Power steering already done. AC a little bit stronger and fresher engine, and should be good to rock and roll, and better brakes. Yeah. So yeah. Stray Bullet, 4-link rear end in the Crown Vic. Yeah, I think they are 4-link rear end. I'm just going to stick with Leafs in the back of the F100. Nothing wrong with Leafs. It's not a race car / race truck. It's a truck. It's a shop truck. And I just want to, when I drive it home, drive it to work in the morning, I just want it to be pleasant, not mind-blowing handling, but just pleasant to drive. Not hard work, just cruisy driving. That's all I want. What else have we got? Granddad's junk. Yes, I've finished the intake manifold and honed bores. I've done 3 videos. Next is the heads. Cool. I'm going to make some time and take a look at those, bud. Robert Beckler. Sorry I'm late. I had to say a prayer with Chris Pratt. Okay, there's more to that comment than I'm picking up on. I've missed something there, I'm sure. Okay. Granddad's junk. Oh yes, I forgot about Rata. Gosh, that's not a name I've heard for decades. Nickname Ironwood, very hard. Is that what they made the railway sleepers out of? I can't remember. Driveway of Misfits. Oh, that shot up the page. Where did that go? Oh, Tavo's in the house. Hey, man, how you doing? Smash the thumbs up button like it owes you money. Alan Trimble, Ford used the twin I-beam suspension in vans well into the 2000s. I worked on a shitload of them. Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, It's a funny thing. Some people hate those twin I beams, and an equal amount of people absolutely love them. It's an interesting. People are quite passionate about their like or dislike of them. So yeah, Beagle Bob 4 link with a Watts link on it. O2 plus, if not earlier. Yeah, well, O2 plus or O2 or newer is that's what you want for the front suspension, for sure. So yeah, there was quite a change in the Crown Vic at 2002. So. Reedman Cable, that old 318, Phil Buckley, was my father's engine in his 70 Sport Fury. Okay. So 70, that would have been in LA. That wouldn't have been a Poly 318, would it? That'd be in LA at that 1970. Pop's Mustang Shop. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that like button does help the channel. I appreciate it. Beagle Bob, two-wheel drive F250s used twin I-beams through 2016. Good grief. I didn't realise they use them that long. Tavo, Kiwi, others, good evening, afternoon, or morning. Yeah. How'd your daughter's wedding go, Tavo? Was that a good weekend? It all went well, I trust. I hope. Right. Yeah, actually, Tavo, Mrs. Kiwi actually pointed out that you did a live the other day, and I missed it completely as well. So yeah, how'd that go for you? Was that did you have a good time? Jeff R, how did the seat mechanisms you scientifically de-rusted end up working? Mate, I've got to get the other side. I only did the one side. That was all the room was in the bucket, in the tote. So I've got to get the other side in there and get that percolating as well, and then I can put it all together. But yeah, just been playing catch up at work. They got a lot of cars to do a lot of work to. Started back on that 70 Dodge Challenger TA today as well. Had Dr. Art over. He's been giving me a hand on some of this mechanical stuff. Yeah, so we got the heads back on and torque down, and now we've just got to put all the rest of the other accessories, bits and pieces, rocker gear and manifolds and all that fun stuff on. But it's moving along, which is nice. It took forever to get the heads done. We ended up putting, what did we do? We put 8 new exhaust valves in it, 16 seats, and 16 guides. So yeah, the heads are like new. So yeah. Tavo, yeah, pretty much a last minute decision to do it. Oh, good on you, man. Hey, why not? Why not? Have fun with it. Oscar Walton, so how's Large Marge? Yeah, she's just kind of sitting there marching time, holding station, as it were. Yeah, not a lot happening with Marge right now. There's just a few, the truck. I need to try and get the shop truck running, up and running and become a useful vehicle. So there's a little bit on that. Plus, yeah, just so much customer work to do. But we're getting through it. We're getting ahead of it, and we'll get back onto Marge and get her seat done and stuff like that. So yeah. Dewick Deberjack. Ironwood makes a nice. I don't even say. Well, how Shillag. Shilla? I don't even know how to say that. Fairly common in the northeast. Okay. How do you say it? How do you pronounce that? Shillila. Shillila. Huh. Curious. Don't even know what that is, mate. Stray bullet. The last twin I-beam truck was in 97, Beagle Bob. Everything went to independent suspension after that. Oh, yeah. Huh. Granddad's junk. Question, brother. What inlet manifolds are around for a 383 B block? I do need one. Yeah, there's not that I've been looking, but yeah, I'm sure there's a fair bit around for that engine. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem to source here. Are you wanting like an aluminum, like an aftermarket aluminum intake, or are you looking for like a factory 4-barrel intake? Aluminum's going to be cheaper to ship. I know that. Riemann cable. Yes, my dad's 70 Sport Fury 318 was in LA. No decal or name on the engine. Huh. Oscar Walton. So, how's the stroker poly going for large Marge? Well, let's see. How's it going? Well, I do know where I can hit the bite now button for a crank. I've located that. I just have to actually hit that button. I need to sell a few more videos first and a few more T-shirts and things like that just to help fund it all. Because that stroker kit there isn't really a stroker kit as such for the poly, but you can use an LA based crank and rods, I believe. But then you got to get a suitable piston that suits the poly head rather than the LA head. So yeah, it's not the cheapest kit. You kind of have to make it up yourself, the stroker kit, but it's not too bad. But it's not like buying a stroker kit for a 350 Chevy, which are cheap as chips, So yeah, it's the stroker poly is going on up here, and that's about the only place at the moment. Andy Nickel had a landscape company in the 70s, and we used a lot of railway ties. They were creosote soaked spruce because they weren't hard to drill through. Okay. Huh. Now, when you say, I think railway ties, we call them sleepers, railway sleepers. So that's that big length of wood that goes crossways across under the railway tracks, supports them all. I'm pretty sure that's what you mean by railway tie, which as I said, we call a railway sleeper. Tavo, hey Kiwi. Yes, the wedding went well. Neither of them changed their mind. Well, that's always a good thing. You missed a good excuse for a sip or three of bourbon during the live. Yeah, mate. Yeah. That was a shame. That was a shame. Oscar Walton, shelleleh. Okay. What is a shelleleh? Robert Beckler. Tony has one, I bet. Oh, the intake manifold. Yeah. Yeah, probably. Shillelagh is a noggin knocker. Oh, we're talking code now. I know what a noggin is. So it sounds like it's a weapon. Shillelagh. Okay. I'm getting it. I got it now. Granddad's junk. I haven't decided it's next after the Poly. The 383 is a H high performance engine, 64 closed chamber. There you go. And what's that going into, Granddad? What sort of car is it going into? Andy Nickel, LOL. Not very Irish, are you? Pronouncing shillelagh. Big Irish club for bashing Brits. Yeah, I wondered if it was a noggin knocker. Yeah, that makes sense. No, mate, I'm not very Irish. You're absolutely right. Riemann cable. My wife's mum left her a stock 96 Crown Vic 4.6 litre V8, 130,000 Ks. Wow. 130,000 Ks, that's about 80,000 miles. Yeah, that'd be a good car. That'd be a good car. Dewek Debajek are Scottish and Irish and are more Slovenian than either. Okay, I'm not really following the question, but Tavo, 2 days after her daughter's wedding, the mother has started a drive up through the Red Centre to her new job up in the Outback, Northern Territories, driving a 19-year-old Honda, wishing her well. Wow. Yeah. Mind you, 19-year-old Honda, what's that, a 2006? Yeah, that'll do it. That'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be fine going that far, but that's a long drive and not one you want to break down on. Beagle Bob, he's spreading the history in preparation for St. Paddy's Day. Are you all celebrate? Who's hands up? Who's celebrating St. Patrick's Day and having a few drinks and dressing green? Who's doing that? Alan Trimble. Earlier you were discussing the Mopar Fireball engine. It wasn't labelled Fireball in the USA. It was, as that was a Buick trademark. It was too, the 50s and 60s. Yes, you're absolutely right. I'd forgotten about that. That'll be why they didn't use it. Buick would have stopped them. Huh. Granddad's joke, I haven't anything for it. It was suggested that I hot rod the 30 Plymouth, which drives. Oh, so 383 and the 30 Plymouth. That'd be fun. Reedman cable. I used a 94 Police Interceptor rear sway bar and coils to convert my old 96 Crown Vic, replaced rear air springs, bellows, and air pump. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that would be a wise conversion. They had all sorts of trouble with those airbags, didn't they? Or air springs. Tavo, 350,000 Ks on that Honda. Ooh. Yeah, that's getting up there a little, isn't it? Oh well, it'll make it or it won't. One of the two. Yeah. Oh, hey, Marge made it back 2,000 miles, after sitting for 45 years. So, little old Honda it'll be fine. Direct, the snakes are surrounding us. Oh, it will turn the wooden spoked wheels into kindling. So the old girl's still got wooden wheels on it. Wow. Yeah, no, that wooden wheels in a 383 that's not going to work so well. Not even with ironwood, I don't think. Oscar Walton, the 318 LA was only sold as an entry level V8 in the United States market. The performance option was a small option. Small block was a 340. Try reading. Yeah, 340 definitely was, and then of course they went out to the 360. 340 was a better engine than the 360, but hey. Right. So Where are we up to? 57 likes. Well done. Look at us going. It's 8:11 already. Wow. Beagle Bob, if it's made 350,000 Ks, it must mean it was built correctly. One would assume so. Ooh. Tavo, down here, the 318 was 210 horsepower, or Fireball was 230. So what did they up on the, where did they find the extra 20 horse on the Fireball? Was that the high compression, or like what was that? What made that happen? Tavo's going to have an answer for that, like straight off the top of his head. I can promise you that. My phone's lighting up here. All right. So Tavo, how's the roof swap going on that Valiant of yours? You got it all. I guess you've been busy with the wedding and stuff, haven't you? Back to work then, is it this week on the Valiant, getting that roof wound up? Granddad's junk. That's the beauty with the poly. It can be bored to 340. They share the same stroke. Okay. So how much oversize is it? How many thou you got to take out to get it up to 340? And what pistons do you use? Oh, okay. Tavo, I believe, a slightly better cam, not much else. Okay. Yeah, well, there's 20 horsepower to be had in the camshaft, isn't there? But it sounded quite nice with a bit of cam in it. The roof is still exactly as it was left after the last video, Tavo. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I forgot. I was not thinking that you've been busy as heck with all the weddings and stuff. So, but yeah, mate, you've run out of excuses now. You got to get back on it. You got to get going. Yeah, Stray Bullet and Beagle Bob are having an intense discussion on twin I-beam suspension. I told you, the lovers love them, and the haters hate them. Reedman cable, early 7072 362 barrel, had the J heads from the 340 4V Venturi. Huh. Oscar Walton, 4-inch 40 bore equals 340 displacement. Okay. So 4-inch bore 40 over equals 340. Ah, 3-day weekend coming up. So very, very few excuses indeed. What's the holiday coming up, bud? I can't remember. Or is that in Australia? Is it an Australian holiday or what's that? Or is it Easter? Oh, Easter's a 4-day, isn't it? D-Rick, where is Kevin? Mate, I forgot him. I left him at the workshop again. Long day. Working on several different cars, trying to keep my head in the game. And yeah, just poor old Kev got left sitting there on the hood of the Alpine. Jeff R, where in Oz are you, Tavo? Not about to be hit by that tropical cyclone off Brisbane. No, mate, he's on the other side of the country. He's over in Perth. He's a long way away. Oh, Tavo, Adelaide Cup horse race holiday. Oh, okay. Huh. That's definitely an Aussie holiday. D-Rec, we used to have nocturnal birds at the National Zoo. Did you have any Kiwis there? I mean, they're nocturnal. Granddad's junk. You can get pistons, I think, about 90 thou over. I could be wrong. Wow. That's a fair bit over. They must have some decent wall thickness in the bores to be taking that much out. D-Rec, nudges as good as a wink to a blind bat. Exactly, but. Tavo, no, down in the middle, north of Adelaide. I thought you were in Perth, mate. Why did I think you were in Perth? I give up. I don't know. John Giddings, only 1 month before New Zealand loses daylight saving time, starting to get a bit dark slowly. Yeah, the days are starting to last a bit longer here. So, Granddad's junk, they can go 120,000. Wow. Oscar Walton, 90,000 would be race only if memory serves. So 90,000 would be race only if memory serves. That's Oscar's comment. So why race only? Is it the walls getting a bit thin at that level, or you have to like put that block sealer stuff in them? I think on the poly, a 4-inch stroke puts them straight, even with a stock bore, puts them to 390 cubic inches, I believe. And then you can get up. Yeah, you can then go oversize and get them up to around 400 cubic inches pretty easily, I believe. Oh, Derek, yeah, yes, Kiwi. Okay, so you had Kiwis at the National Zoo. Cool. Yeah, we went looking at the Kiwis. We went to the Auckland Zoo when I was back in New Zealand at Christmas time, and went into the Kiwi enclosure, but none were to be seen. They were I don't know, doing whatever Kiwis do in the dark, and didn't get to see any. Oscar Walton, yes, you would be at the point of needing to fill the block. Yeah, okay, that's what I figured you meant. Yeah, I don't want to do that for a street car. I guess you could get the block sonic checked and just see out just how much meat you've got, and then go from there. See how far you feel. You're confident to bore it out. Stray Bullet, In-N-Out Burger is moving to Tennessee, Kiwi. Are you excited? Yeah, they're going to be quite close to me too. So yeah, that'll be good. Another burger joint to try. We had In-N-Out Burger a couple of times when we were over in San Diego picking up Marge. Old Scuba Steve, Kiwi Steve, took me there a couple of times. So it was good. Tavo, many years ago, an engine reconditioner in Adelaide used to sell all his LA engines bored to 340, 4.04. Okay. Pop's Mustang shop. Today I was driving the 74 Charger 318 that I bought over 30 years ago. It is Richard Petty blue. It gets looks from everyone around town. Yeah, I bet it does, man. I bet it does. It's a cool color, that. And surprising how many non-NASCAR fans are aware of the significance of that color. Like it means something to a lot of people, even if they're maybe not even 100% sure why, but it means something. Well, that whole STP, blue and the STP signage that was pretty high profile. Reedman Cable, FYI, if interested or not, 392 Hemi head firepower from a 58 Imperial had a single 4-barrel WCFB. Tried to disassemble, but piston had welded itself to the bore. That was a 1970 project that failed. Yeah, well, I've got one of those. I've got a 392. That's interesting. A 392 Hemi firepower from a 58 Imperial. The engine I've got was from the same car. It had the 4-barrel on it, and we had a hell of a time. 2 of the pistons were like seriously frozen in there, and we ended up putting like using a piece of 4x4 down the bore and just like wailing on it with a big with a sledgehammer to actually break it free, and then we finally managed to get it out. But that was in there to stay. Yes, Stray Bullet, yeah, and it's very close to where I live, where they're going in, and they're going to have an actual. All the corporates going there, and they're going to have a store, a restaurant, if you want to call it that, at the same location. John Giddens, a male Kiwi was born 2 days ago at the Rotorua, where the national hatchery is. Well, that's cool. They don't, yeah. And a lot of people don't even know what a Kiwi is, and a lot that do know don't realise just how endangered they are. They're in real trouble survival-wise. Stray Bullet in and out doesn't like California anymore. Well, it's not terribly user-friendly to businesses, is it? Let's be honest. You're kind of overburdened with corporate BS. Tavo Chrysler Corporate Blue, known as Capri Blue, or on a Pacer, Thashi Blue. Really? Thashi Blue? Stray Bullet, isn't kiwi a fruit? Yes, kiwi is a fruit. Okay. Do you know what it was called previously to being renamed kiwi fruit? That little green scented, brown, fuzzy outside fruit. We used to go by a different name. Who knows what it was? This can be quiz night now. We've had our woodworking. First hour was all on woodworking. Now it's general knowledge. Josh Homan, kiwi is a fruit, a bird, and human ones as well. This is right. Oscar Walton, kiwi is also a bird. Yeah, that was. I need to actually look into the history of the name, and which came first, the sort of chicken or the egg was. I mean, kiwi is a nickname for someone from New Zealand, for a New Zealander. But was the kiwi? Yeah, where did that name kiwi actually truly originally originate from? Reedman Cable tried that huge hammer on that 392 with hardwood chunk and split the wood. Wow. Yeah, that did not want to come out, did it? So did you just have to give up on the motor? Did you toss the block, or what happened? John Giddings, Chinese gooseberry. Correct, Sir Tavo. Some kind of gooseberry, I think. Yeah, no, Granddad's joke. Well, I mean, you Kiwi guys are going to know that. That question wasn't really for you, but that's okay. I didn't put that in the fine print of the rules, so that's all good. Straight Bullet, I'm not even going to Google it. Oh, they're all chiming in. The Chinese gooseberry, yes. Yes, it's so yeah, the Chinese gooseberry originated in China, I believe, and they found it grew very well in New Zealand, and they decided to rename it the kiwi fruit, and it took off. Beagle Bob, I first recognised kiwi from the shoe polish tins. Yes, that's good little kiwi logo on there too. It's amazing how something like shoe polish is actually recognised internationally. That was a very successful company in New Zealand that sold worldwide shoe polish of all things. John Giddens, Kiwis came from the Invincibles rugby tour 1905. Oh, wow. Reedman Cable. I like all Kiwis, human, bird, and only eat fruit. Only fruit you eat? Tiba, down with corporation, up with Kiwi. There you go. I bet the name of that fruit was rude. Oh, a little bit, yeah. So John Giddens. So it came from the Invincibles. I mean, I know that was a very famous rugby team back in the day, 1905. I remember that, the Invincibles name. So yeah, I have to do more research on that. So how did the Kiwi name come from that rugby tour? Yeah, good to have you in here, Barry Cooter. Yeah, I saw your comment there. Yeah, but yeah, welcome to the room. Good to have you along. We've only got about half an hour to go, but that's all right. You're here now. Stray bullet, great. Now there will probably be a tariff on shoe polish. Oh dear. John Gittins, did you try the red kiwi fruit while in New Zealand? No, mate, I did not. I didn't know there was such a thing. I've had the yellow kiwi fruit. That's quite nice. Didn't know they were growing a red one now. I figures that somebody would come up with that. Fred Nurk, g'day everyone. Sorry I'm late. That's fine, mate. Not a problem. We're just glad you're here. Reedman Cable, yep, 392 block was scrapped. That's a shame. But the Hemi heads rolled around in my buddy's 69 Daytona Charger truck as ballast for the N50. For the N50 15s. Oh, good grief. Heads were rebuilt. Huh. Yeah, well, I was lucky we managed to save the block. We did manage to get the pistons out, but it took some very spirited beatings with a sledgehammer to actually get them out. Like given that sledgehammer everything it had, and they finally moved. John Gittins, Invincibles had silver firm and Kiwi emblem on the jumper, I believe, but could be wrong. Okay. Silver fern and the Kiwi emblem. Okay. So the Kiwi emblem was of the Kiwi bird. So the Kiwi birds came first, and then Kiwi New Zealanders became known as Kiwis after that. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, I missed that. Tavo's back to work. Mate, you need a longer lunch break. You need to talk with the management and get a longer lunch break on Tuesdays. Or Wednesdays, your time, isn't it? Yeah, you need a 2-hour lunch break on Wednesdays. Just get them to write that into the contract. So, what else is going on, guys? What else? Hey, I tell you what, I had an inquiry today from a guy who wanted to put air ride suspension in a Volkswagen Beetle. Well, that wasn't my thing, but I sent him in the direction of a guy that near me that does old Porsches and Beetles exclusively. So we got him on track with that, and then he was asking me whether I would be interested in working on his Hemi Cuda. He's got a 70, what was it, a 72? I think he said it was. 426 Hemi Cuda, and would I be interested in working on it? What do you think my response was, guys? So that's going to be a fun car when we get that in the door. There's nothing much wrong with it. Just needs a kind of like a health check. Make sure everything's working as it should. It's been sat for kind of like 18 months as the guys transition from LA to Nashville. And so he just wants me to go over it and give it the sort of stamp of approval that she's good to go. So I'd be like, I'd be happy to do that. I'd be a little more than happy, actually. Right. Andy Nickel, what's the lowdown on Pee-wee's car tonight? Oh, this. Okay. It is a 57 Fairlane. They also marketed them as a 57. Oh, get it up in the camera shot. That'll help, wouldn't it? I could see it. You guys couldn't. 57 Skyliner that was also marketed as. Now this has the whole lift out. I can't reach in there. But it's got a little roof that lifts out the whole thing, the whole 9 yards, and it's quite a neat little die cast actually. Hold it up. Good grief. Yes, so all that lifts up, hood, the roof retracts, it's down in there. Let me see if I can get it out without tearing too much stuff up. Oh, there we go. So yeah, it goes there. And the little front bit's fallen off. Where'd that go? Okay, we've lost the front of the roof here somewhere. I think that's in the trunk. But yeah, little retractable Ford. Quite a cool little die cast. So one of my collection. If I can get it to close again. Yeah, quite neat. 1957. They originally called them Fairlanes, and then they updated, I believe about the half-year mark, they changed them to Sunliners. Skyliners. Sunliners. Oh, gosh, I forget. Yeah. Fred Nark, and of course the Kiwi was on the original McLaren. The Kiwi is still in their logo, actually. McLaren. They've kind of modernised it a lot, and it's a little harder to pick out as being the Kiwi logo, but it is actually a Kiwi logo. They are still quite proud of their Kiwi connection, and of course I'll be getting up and well, not getting up, but watching the Formula One racing very closely this year. The McLaren's staged a real comeback, so it's kind of awesome. I know it's strictly British now, but it started as a Kiwi company, and had Kiwi drivers, and they rocked the world, man, back in the day. Bruce McLaren was just a genius. And he had some Kiwi drivers, and they took the world on and beat them. It was good. Stray Bullet, I've seen a lowrider Beetle on hydraulics, just 2 switches though. There you go. Yeah, I've started to like the Beetles. I used to really dislike them. But they've kind of grown on me. I'm not really sure why, but if they're set up right, you can kind of lower them a bit in the right starts and wheels, and they suddenly start to look pretty darn cool. Barracuda, I think there used to be Kiwi Bacon. Yeah, they did. Kiwi Bacon Factory up in Auckland. I've driven past that, God, hundreds of times. Driveway of Misfits. I was never a big fan of slamming air-cooled VW. I think they look best when still stock. Yeah. That I get the sentiment. I really do. And there's some people like stock. Some people like certain cars stock. Some people like them modified. it's yeah. I completely respect your opinion on that, and yeah, for me, I think they look better, fairly low. That's just me. You're absolutely right in your view of the best looking VW is a stock one. Jeff R. Holden V8 question 308 cubic inch has a 4-inch bore, 253 has a 3.625, 3 and 5/8. Common head gaskets sold to suit both. Would there be much compression lost using them on the 253? Huh. Okay, that's a very good. No, I wouldn't think there'd be much compression loss, but I don't think it would. Yeah, that wouldn't. I wouldn't want to use a 4-inch bore head gasket on a 3.62, 3 and 5/8 bore. That I'm really surprised that they have a common head gasket. Yeah, I would want to see if I could find a 3 and 5/8 head gasket. Yeah, you're going to have that kind of like dead space, depending on the thickness of the gasket, compress, somewhere around 40, 60 thou gap for gases and carbon and stuff to end up in. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me. But hey, I guess in the name of economics, they just went, the one gasket fits all. But so Jeff, do you know if you can actually buy a 3 and 5/8 or 3.625 head gasket? If you can, that's what I'd be doing. Stray bullet, didn't it take like 20 motors to make the Skyliner top work? Not 20 motors, 20 odd relays, yes, to switch the motors from each direction and to set them working. There was, I don't know how many motors, but quite a few. I think 8 seems to be in my brain, and I don't know that that's really an accurate answer or not, but that's a number I've just got in my head when I think about that question. But they certainly have a lot of relays, and they're a bit of a nightmare. Not many people know how to make them work. Last I heard, there was a guy based in California, but he would travel around the country fixing the roofs for people, and it was apparently like $5,000. You ring up, how much to fix my roof? It was just a flat rate, $5,000. Whatever was wrong with it, and he would fix it. Regardless of how little or how much was wrong with it, it was just $5,000, and that was kind of his appearance fee. And he had all the right relays, and he had apparently loads of stock of the high use parts in there, the stuff that failed. And yeah, $5,000 later, your roof was working again. Which, yeah, but that was a few years ago now. I'm not sure whether he's even still with us. He was an older guy apparently. John Giddings, have you tried McDonald's Kiwi burger? Yes, mate, I have. It's awesome. Yeah, that's the best burger that McDonald's make by a long shot. Riemann Cable, 71 Dodge Challenger body with a 512. Nice. Yeah, that'll get up and go, won't it? Riemann, McLarens were cool cars. Mate, they still are. They still are cool cars. Definitely, the McLaren is a supercar without question. Beagle Bob, my wife was shocked tonight. For once, a 20-minute job actually took about 20 minutes. Yeah, mate, I know what you mean. Like those 20-minute jobs take an hour and a half at least, usually. Did rear shocks on my half ton. That was a quick turnaround, 20 minutes for rear shocks. That's pretty good going. Josh Homan, it took a lot of motors. Yeah, they had. I seem to think it was about 8 motors, but I wouldn't bet on that. But that's the number I remember. Jim 1, how long have you been based in the States? Another Kiwi here. Okay, up in Canada, restoring old cars, whatever I can get my hands on. Oh, good on you, man. Mate, I've been in the States since 2008. So, what's that? 17 years, something like that. Yeah, 17 years. A lot longer than I thought I would be. I originally came here and thought, well, one of the goals was to try to be here 5 years so I could get citizenship, and then you don't have to worry about green cards and all that carry on. So that 5 years came and went very quickly, and here we are, like 17 years later. It's like, wow. Time has flown. Absolutely, it has. Jim 1, what kind of old cars are you restoring? Tell us a bit about yourself. Barracuda, I've heard that Formula One is going back to V10s. Yeah, apparently there's big changes coming for next year, and I haven't actually got around to looking to see what they are, what the big changes are. But yeah, it could well be V10s. Tim Miller, best bore blocks to gasket sizes. Yeah, that's. I think I get what you're saying. It's best to have the bores to gas. Yeah, the same. Yeah. Oscar Walton, the only Beetle I've owned was a Baja Bug. The lift used to chew up the rear tyres after a while. I'd imagine lowering it would be equally hard on the tyres. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Steve Hobbs, Cometic has correct 253 gaskets listed. Well, there you go. That's what you want. I would definitely get the right size gasket. Just seems the sensible thing to do. Granddad's junk. The 253 is a nice wee engine and reasonably cheap to run. I had one in HT Kingswood. Bet you wish you still had the HT, Granddad, don't you? Crazy what those things are worth now. Stray Bullet. I wonder if I could find a Skyliner to practice fixing the roof. Oh, good grief. Yeah, no, don't do that. You'll drive yourself to an early grave. Beagle Bob, I was able to leave the wheels on and didn't even have to jack it up. Okay, I think I missed something somewhere there. Andy Nickel, 1970, Mormon Tom had an old Fairlane, and soon as he got out of eyeshot, he'd spark up a cigarette and crack a beer. 8 of us would pile in and each threw in a quarter for gas, and we'd be on the cruise. Good days, good times, huh? Yeah, that would have been awesome. Straight Bullet, I'm going to change 10K because of inflation and tariffs. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Tariffs are a fairly hot topic at the moment. Garth Harris, hey Kiwi, got a 4-barrel manifold for the 273. So now just deciding between a Holly 465 or 600. 600's on the big side for a 273. It's a 4-barrel manifold. Is the 273 dead stock? Would be my question to you. If it's dead stock, I would probably go with the 465. That will give you a little bit nicer drivability. You shouldn't, if it's essentially stock, then the 465, you won't lose any horsepower with it, but you will pick up on drivability. It's all about the airspeed through the carburetor. So you have bigger chokes, which obviously the 600 does. Your airspeed slows down. So then the carburetor relies on airspeed to pull the fuel through the carburetor. It's that suction and the airspeed that moves the gas from in the bowls of the carburetor to inside your engine. So that needs to be ideal. And the smaller the choke, the higher the speed, which makes the carburetor work better. Obviously, you can choke an engine down if you have too small a carburetor and not enough flow in it. But honestly, 465 will be big enough, and some will say you'd get an extra 10 horsepower out of a 600 or something like that. But what you do is you'll lose 20 down in the mid-range, and that's where you need it. That's where you drive, is in the mid-range. Every time you change a gear or your automatic changes up a gear, the revs drop from the higher range, if you're pushing it, to that mid-range. And that's where you need to be able, it's where you want the engine to pull from, is that mid-range. You spend much more time in the mid-range than you do at peak RPM, unless you're drag racing. But, I'm guessing 273, probably not building a drag racing car, right? Barracuda, how long until Kiwis go extinct if they're putting them in burgers? Oh, good grief. Oh, man. That would be an uprising. That would be terrible. Straight bullet. You're going to charge, not change. Okay, that makes more sense, but the late night Derek, the late night Kiwi will always slip by. You talking about the good night Kiwi on TV? I guess it depends. Driveway of misfits. I suppose it depends on how much McDonald's charges for them. Yeah, I've been asked numerous times since I've been in the States, like, about Kiwis, and a fairly common question is, can you eat them like chickens or something? And I'm like, my response is always, well, if you want to go to jail, you can try one. That's very similar to asking, can you eat bald eagles in America? It's like, no, not unless you want to go to jail. New Zealanders are equally as proud of the Kiwi as Americans are of their bald eagle, and the Kiwi is equally as well protected as the bald eagle is. Steve Osgood, did someone say bourbon? Well, I did about, how long ago? About just on 2 hours ago, I said yes to a bourbon. And I'm still nursing it here, so it's quite strong bourbon, actually. I'll be honest, I'm getting a little bit of feedback from that bourbon. Snow Crusher, 57 Ford convertible on the table behind. No, it's 57. So it's not no. It's yes, it's a 57 Ford. It's actually a retractable top, not a convertible. So it's the retractable hard top one. Garth Harris, dead stock 273. Yep, honestly, go with the 465. It'll be all the carburetor you need. I restored a what was it? A 53 Lincoln Capri, and that was a 4-barrel carb, that weird Holly teapot carburetor on it, which was missing off the car. And somebody talked the customer, not me, someone else talked him into putting a 2-barrel 500 CFM Holly on it. And it never ran right. It did not like the 2-barrel. And it was primarily because, it was a 500 CFM 2-barrel, which is like half a 4-barrel. So it was kind of like 1,000 CFM if it had been a 4-barrel. And the airspeed through the two 500 CFM barrels was too slow, and it just never ran right. It never changed gears at the right times because the vacuum, the inlet manifold vacuum was never what it should have been for a small. Because the original 4-barrel it had was probably around 500 CFM, but of course the primaries were only little. So when you're working on that light throttle mid-range, you were only working effectively on a 250 CFM carburetor. So you had good airspeed, so you had good throttle response, you had good manifold vacuum, the transmission changed gear when it should, was meant to. And they put the 500 2-barrel on it, and it just killed it. And I eventually talked him into taking that off, which he wasn't keen, because he bought it brand new and, messed around and used a 2-barrel to 4-barrel adapter on it. And, put a bit of effort and money into this 2-barrel. And I said, well, that's your problem. And he finally believed me and tried it and was just over the moon. The difference was literally night and day. It got more miles per gallon. It had more power. And it shifted at the right times. It was a new car, and he was thrilled to bits. And, that same lesson really applies to your 273. You just need a little wee 4-barrel and you'll be a happy man. Now, enough rambling about that. We missed on. Granny's junk. The gasket set for the Poly was $378. Wow. Only one supplier here. Interesting. I don't know what they are here, mate. I'm not sure for a full gasket set. I've bought a few gaskets for mine, like exhaust manifold gaskets, and what else did I get? I got an all pan gasket, and they were cheap. But not a full. I haven't bought a full gasket set, so I can't compare. But I mean, $378 New Zealand dollars. That's what is that? About 200 American ish. So I'd like to think they'd be cheaper than that, but I'm not sure. I mean, polys aren't real thick on the ground, even here. So Josh Homan, what a ripoff. Yeah, well, well, I mean, that guy who's got him, the one supplier here. I mean, to be fair to him, he's trying to make a living off it. Like he's not doing it for fun. He's buying the stuff, holding it in stock, and waiting for people to buy it. And he's trying to make a living like the rest of us. So there's got to be some margin in it for him. The New Zealand dollar is not strong, so whoever that person is will be buying it and paying US dollars for it out of the States, most likely. And then he's got to ship it here and ship it to New Zealand, pay the applicable taxes, because that 370 will no doubt include sales tax, which is 15%. So it's is it a rip-off? I'm not prepared to say it's a rip-off, but he's making $1 at it, and that's the name of the game, isn't it? We all got to make a living. Stray Bullet, can your dad teach me how to work on Skyliner tops? Carbide Jones. There'll be people willing to pay you, that's for sure. Direct, they used to lift old VWs with bus swing arms, reduction boxes, IRS differential, more forgiving. Yes, I've seen that done using like the combi ones, the combi bus. Well, they call them a microbus here. We call them combis. Stray Bullet, what is this Kiwi burger, mate? It's what do they add to? I think the key thing it has tomato. We say tomato in New Zealand. America says tomato. They have beetroot. Kiwi burger has beetroot on it, like pickled beets, which is a huge improvement to a burger. It's awesome. Beetroot on burgers is great. And And what else did they have in the New Zealand Kiwi burger? I think that's all. That was the main difference. Just the addition of a slice of beetroot really made it a Kiwi burger, if I'm not mistaken. Redmond Cable. Be nice to Kiwis. They are like Canadians. D-Rec, always big fun. Let me know if you come to DC for a tour. I've been to DC. It's been a little while, but I've been to DC. John Giddens, Kiwi burger typically includes a beef patty, beetroot, egg, cheese, onion, tomato, lettuce, mustard, and ketchup on a toasted bun. Yeah, a true Kiwi burger does. Yes, you're absolutely right. The McDonald's one does. I don't think has all that on it. I'm pretty sure. I think it's just the lettuce and tomato and beetroot. McDonald's is not going to give you all that stuff, but you get them at the local burger bars, and it would have all that on it: egg, cheese, onion, as you say, everything on it. That was a meal. It was a meal, no doubt. Very good. I've been looked at strangely many times when I suggested putting beetroot on a burger over here in the States, but it really is good. It really is. Snow Crusher, you can eat beaver up here in Canada. Let's not go down that road. That can have all sorts of connotations, can't it? I assume you're meaning in the very truest literal sense of the word. Chris Freemason, Snow Crusher. Have you ever eaten beaver then? Haven't most of us? Snow Crusher. Okay, 57 Ford drop top. Stray bullet. That's the problem that I'm going to have, Carbide. Yeah, all the craftsmen are gone. Yeah. Barracuda, ever had mutton bird, Kiwi? No, I have never had mutton bird. I think only the Maori are allowed to even hunt mutton bird now. I thought that was a law quite some few decades ago. But yeah, mutton bird is was a traditional Maori food. Maori's the local indigenous people of New Zealand. And yeah, they would that was a staple of their diet, I believe, the mutton bird. Apparently, it's a very, very oily meat or flesh off the mutton bird. So yeah, I guess if you can imagine a very oily, greasy chicken, it's a little like that from what I've been told. GFR, Garth Harris, Dead Dodge Jamie would recommend a 500 CFM Edelbrock ABS2 for a stock 273. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Jamie gets it. Not all of the Mopar gurus that are on YouTube, subscribe to the small carburetor methodology, but I do, and clearly Jamie does. And because not everybody wants just the only thing that matters is a quarter mile time. And yeah, if that's the only thing that matters, then one, put a big carb on it. Two, put a bigger engine in it, because you're not going to win a lot of drag racing with a 273. And I'm not trying to be mean about your 273. 273 is a great little engine, but keyword being little engine. it's not, you're not going to make 800 horsepower out of a 273. So yeah, great engine for a round town driver or even interstate driver for that matter. It doesn't have to be round town, but anything other than drag racing, you need a 500 or less carburetor. Garth Harris, cheers Kiwi. It's in a 66 Barracuda here in Australia. Loved your trip back to New Zealand. Kiwis taste good with Waddy's sauce. Gotta have Waddy's tomato sauce, mate. It's the best. Yeah, I enjoyed my trip back too, but I'm glad it was fun sharing it with you guys, and yeah, it was awesome. It really was. So yeah, well, man, it's 9:01. Well, that just shot down the page again. Well, I've not really been keeping up here, have I? Driveway of Misfits, Snow Crusher. I was wondering how serious a question that was. Yes, indeed. D-Rec, I think they use emu in the Kiwi. They do not use emu in the Kiwi burger. Good grief. Stray bullet beetroot. That's interesting. Yeah, beetroot really is. You should try it, mate. Trust me, try it. Some beetroot. It's got to be pickled, not the plain stuff. Pickled beetroot, sliced, and put that in your burger, and yeah, you'll be a changed man. What else have we got? Oh, D-Rick, I wish I had better practical questions. Your knowledge is valuable. Well, thanks, man. It's really that I'm not that I'm so smart. It's just that, when you work on these old girls 40 to 60 hours a week, it's pretty hard not to gain some knowledge. So it's just time and experience, really. Barracuda, there's a shop here called Black Panther Pizzas. That's a special topping. Yeah, well, we won't go there. I'm not going to touch that one. Oscar Walton, the Polly has a small but loyal following. The vowels are a bit shrouded, but they love Boost. Huh. That's interesting because I talked with, I think I mentioned it last week. I talked with Dr. Art about putting twin turbos on March and just a really low boost, like 4 or 5 pounds. And, one turbo per 4-barrel carb on the twin fours. And he's like, yeah, that'll work. I was like, interesting. That would be could be some good looking plumbing under the hood. Because I'd want twin intercoolers as well. Well, I don't know that you need an intercooler really with 4 or 5 pounds boost, but yeah, interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts. Granddad's junk. End of the day, I can't get going without it. So I was happy to pay the hard to get the parts if I have spare exhaust manifolds. So there you go. Glenn chilling out with Kiwi waiting for the cyclone. Yeah, it's meant to get a bit windy. Andy Nickel, Mum used to pickle beets. They were so good, way better than the store-bought. Yeah, I bet they were too. Huh, that's cool. Yeah, pickle. I mean, I'll sit there and just, if I'm like hungry and I just want a little snack, I'll sit there and eat like half a jar of pickled beetroot. It's good. It's good eating. It's good eating. Barracuda. There used to be a liquor shop in Queenstown called Beaver Liquor. Okay. D-Rick, beetroot. Love beetroot. Good for you. Snow Crusher. Love the show. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, it's kind of time to go, guy. Oscar Walton, below 10 psi intercooler wouldn't be necessary. Yeah, no, I kind of figured that. It's intercoolers. I like the look of intercoolers. But yeah, there's not a lot of point if you're a low boost. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's a wrap for the night. Another night has flown by. Another week's flown by. Lots have been done, which is quite cool. Andy Nickel, if you don't mind, Red P. Good night, all. All right, guys. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for all your comments and questions. It's all very cool. Oh, Morganizer T's dropped in. Kia ora. How are you, cuz? And yeah, so that's it from me. Good night, and I will see you next Tuesday with more news of the shop and more. We'll have more beetroot talk and more woodworking talk, and maybe a little about cars. All right, okay, guys. See ya. Take it easy.